Very good morning. Hope
Hi.
everybody joined. Let's start our today's session. Hope everybody able to see my screen.
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay. So today our discussion is going towards OOPS in Python. Okay. So we will see the basics of object-oriented programming, and we'll see what is functional programming as well today. And we will also uh, discuss the internals of what is an object, what is a class, okay, and what is a method or a function, right? So everything we will see, and we will also discuss some special things like init and self in Python. Okay, so we'll discuss these things today. So before going to that, did anybody try to do some operations on pandas yesterday? Honestly, any one of you try to read a JSON file and do some pandas based transformations? Anyone from the room?
So just tried that reading the JSON file and converting into a data frame.
Okay, okay, great side.
Yes, Venkat, I also tried reading
Okay,
JSON file and writing, updating the key value.
great, Bablu. Thank you so much for just trying it. Okay. See, for the others, right? I mean, who did not, or else from the room who did not tried it, right? So I request you to go and practice it. Okay. So otherwise, you feel difficult when you are really working on the project. Okay. So at the end, I will give a project use case. Okay. So that time you will definitely suffer a lot if you are not practicing our daily sessions. Okay. So that is some a comment that I want to pass on. Okay, fine. So let's go back here. Okay, so now we are in OOPS. So what is OOPS? So OOPS means object oriented programming. Okay, so object oriented programming. Okay, so in object oriented programming, so why we need object oriented programming? Okay, so the reason is, functions, or variables, loops, control flow statements, everything, but how you make use of all these concepts and how you will create a real world object, okay, is something that you need to do with the whoops in Python. Okay, so meaning, let us take an example. Everything is an object in real world, right? So you, me, human being is an object. Laptop is an object. Okay, so everything, your mobile is an object. So everything is an object. So what an object consists of? Object consists of attributes. Okay, so meaning every object have some attributes. Let us say if you take human being as an object, human being has height, right? Weight, color, age, name, right? So these are all the attributes of that object. Correct? If you take your mobile, right? So the mobile brand and mobile configuration, right? Mobile color, mobile display, mobile storage. These are all the mobile attributes. Okay, but mobile itself is an object. Remember? So mobile is an object, but the attributes of the mobile consist of mobile name, mobile brand, mobile storage. All these things are attributes of that particular object. So every object can have a set of attributes as well as behavior. Okay, so every object can have a set of attributes as well as a behavior. Be very, very clear. Okay, so object behaves, it reacts based on what it knows. Be very, very clear. Okay, as a human beings, we will behave, or we'll react, or we will do actions based on what we know. Be very, very clear on that front. Okay, so when we say object, I'm trying to explain about the real world objects. Okay, so we'll come back to the Python object later. That's okay. But if you understand the real world object entity, then you can easily get your Python object. It is similar to a real world object entity. So in a programming standards, how you will implement a real world object is what Python object means. Okay, a object is nothing but it consists of few attributes, and it consists of certain behavior which that object knows. Be very, very clear. Okay, so if you want me a bookish definition for an object is the instance of the class, people will say. In Amirpet and all, will use this definition a lot. Okay, so I cannot say like that, but try to understand your real world object. So what is real world objects? So let us take an example, your mobile. Your mobile is an object, and that mobile have some attributes, and it has certain behavior. That behavior is defined in your operating system, and based on that it will react. For which operation, how to react, it was already defined in your operating system, and then accordingly it will react. So a object is a real world entity which have certain attributes and certain behavior. Okay, so when we try to implement this in a programmatical fashion, then this OOPS concepts will help you to create a real world object to behave as you like. Right? If you want to build a software, and the lot of options are there, and if you want to build a software, that software should work according to the user requirements. So you're trying to build that software, it's an object. So how to react, right? So it has some variables, and then according to the user requirement, it should react. So we are giving that intelligence to that software by doing programming, right? By doing programming, you are giving that intelligence so that it will react according to your programming, right? So you write programming in object oriented fashion so that it can react in a better fashion, right? So now let us take an example, your IRCTC, man. So your IRCTC, if you go, you'll see the portal itself will ask for the passenger and booking details. Correct? So for every passenger, it treats an as an object, right? Internally, every passenger is an object for that platform. So you will enter your passenger details, and you will enter your travel dates, and then you will try to book your ticket. Correct? So for every passenger, your IRCTC doesn't maintain, different code bases. Be very, very clear. For them, when they are programming this IRCTC platform, For them, each and every passenger is an object for them. So how this passenger will behave? So this passenger will have some attributes, okay, and this passenger will log in with their details, and this passenger will try to book the ticket. If this passenger cancels, what to do? So for a single passenger standpoint only, they will build the platform. Okay, so it is not like for every single passenger they will create code at the back end. The same platform will work for different objects. How it is working? They made their objects think. Okay, so they develop their code in such a way that by using object oriented programming, they will connect all the objects into the single platform. Okay, similar to that, when you take anything, man, you take any software or any business applications that you are using, Aadhaar card, let us say, for Aadhaar also, every citizen is an object for them, right? So for a citizen, what are all the attributes? We have this retina scan they have taken, we have fingerprints, all these are attributes. So they are storing all these objects, attributes in some place, and they will extract wherever they need. Okay, so simply object is a real world entity which have certain attributes and certain behavior. Okay, this behavior will be defined by the methods. Be very clear. I'm speaking. Okay, so this is my behavior. Okay, I'm talking, and then I'm actually sleeping, I'm dancing. So these are all my activities. Okay, I'm driving. So these are all my activities. So these activities will be defined by methods in programmatic fashion, right? We already seen functions, right? The similar methods in, we'll call it in Java. Here we have functions. Okay, so what is a class now? Okay, so we know about the object. Object is a real world entity which have certain attributes and certain behavior. Okay, now this behavior we can define using functions, okay, in Python. And what is a class now? So this class is actually, if you ask me, people will say it's a blueprint of an sorry, it's a blueprint of an object. Okay, so I don't follow the bookish definitions, but I want you to understand, when you want to create an object, you need a template first. Okay, so what are all the attributes this object have? What are all the functionalities, or what are all the behaviors this object have? So you need a template. You will define all these things at some place. That is a class. Okay, once you create that template, or once you implement the template, your object will gets created. Okay, so class, if you want to define, class is a blueprint or a template of an object's variables and its behavior. Okay, so class is a blueprint or a template of an object variables and the object's behavior. Okay, so when we see practically, you will get more understanding. Okay, but for now, try to understand. So these concepts will use to develop to write modularized code. Okay, so where we use this oops concepts in real time. So we use these oops concepts to build reusable modularized framework based code. Okay, you still can write hard coded script based function after function, function after function, function after function. At the end, you can write main and then you can call all the functions. That can also be done. But when this OOPS concepts based frameworks will be helpful, it will be helpful when you are writing generic frameworks across projects, okay, across projects to work on. And when you're writing more configure driven applications, right? So at that time you need this OOPS knowledge to write such frameworks. Okay, so let us understand step by step. I have an example code. Okay, so I have an example code. I will explain this to you. Okay, see here. I have a class called car. Okay, I have a class called car. And inside the car class, the first function that I declared is init. Okay, see here, def underscore underscore init underscore underscore of, I have some self and name, company, model, mileage. Okay, now let us coming back to this init, right? Init and self. So these init and self, we call this init function as constructor in Python. Be very clear, as constructor in Python. Okay, so what do I mean by that? When you call this class, or when you try to create an object on top of this class, we know class is a blueprint or a template to create the object. Okay, so now this init function is a constructor meaning when you are trying to create an object on top of a class, your constructor will be executed first, and your constructor will be utilized to create your class variables or attributes. Okay, so see here, I have a car class, and if I want to create an object with this template, I need to pass few things to my template. What are those few things? I need to pass name, company, model, and mileage. Okay, so I need to pass name, company, model, mileage. So these are the arguments to my class. Okay, when I pass this, and if I try to create a car object, then all these init function will be triggered first before going to the behavioral section. When you create an object of a car, your constructor will be called first. Okay, your constructor of this particular class will be called first by your kernel. Okay, now when it called, what is happening inside? See here, I am using this self. We use this self keyword to read the instance variables. Be very clear. Okay, class is something that is a template of an object, and in that template we have variables, or we have attributes of that particular class, or we have attributes of that particular object. Okay, so how you will access all these variables, right? So to access these variables, we use self keyword. So meaning self dot name, you are assigning your argumented name to your self dot name, and you are assigning your inputted company to your self dot company. Okay, and you are assigning your model to your self dot model. Okay, now you created your constructor. If the people coming from different programming background like Java and all, they may be seeing constructors with the same similar class name, saying this dot name equals to name, this dot what this dot company equals to company, something like that they will do. Okay, so this is how we will declare a constructor in Python using init and self. Okay, so here if you see, I'm passing a name, company, model, and mileage. These are the key arguments to create a core object for me. For a typical core class template, these are the arguments that I'm keeping. Is it a mandate to keep an arguments to a class? No, it is not a mandate. Okay, but for you to understand, so I'm actually giving this template. Okay, so see here, you have one behavior mentioned. Okay, what is this behavior? Get basic details. Okay, get basic details. So you don't need to write this self, automatically it will come when you are in class. Okay, so as you already assigned few attributes here to the self keyword, you can use all those attributes wherever you want inside the class. Guys, it is a bit confusing. Be very, very clear. Come along with me. Okay, so no deviations, concentrate. Okay, so here I have declared my constructor. This constructor holds the instance variables, and to access the instance variables, we are using the self keyword. When I say instance variables, these are nothing but class parameters or class input arguments. Okay, be very, very clear. And once I declared my constructor, when you are going for a class, it is very good, or it is recommended to declare your constructor. Okay, if you don't have any constructor and if you are still going for the behavioral thing, yes, that is absolutely fine. It also will work. There is no one who is gonna stop you, to write a bad standard programming. But it is up to you how best you can write your program, how best it is flexible for you to change further, right? So here I have one behavior. This behavior is nothing but when I call this behavior, my object will give the basic details to me. Okay, and I have one more behavior. Okay, is SUV. Okay, and this behavior, when I call, this will give the information, okay, whether this object is an SUV type or non-SUV type. Okay, so this is something that you need to understand, guys. So we defined a class and we declared a constructor to have some instance attributes, and then we are using all those attributes in our behaviors. See here, the string formatting. At this moment, if you come back and ask me what is string formatting, it's your headache, guys, because we have spent a lot of time in string methods and string interpolation, right? So here if you see, I'm using all my self instance variables in the functionalities that I have in for my object. Okay, a car template is ready. I have a constructor, I have all the attributes for my object. Okay, and I have two behaviors that got defined. Now how you will create an object? See, this is how you will create an object in Python. Okay, so object equals to class of the input arguments. Object equals to class of the input arguments to that particular class. Okay, so what are the arguments to my class? Name, company, modal mileage, right? See here, I have a car name called High Rider, and company is Toyota. Model is 2024. Mileage is 21. Okay. So when I want to, okay, so my object is created now. I passed the required input parameters to my class. Okay, and I created my car object. Car object is having these attributes, and according to these attributes I have my functionalities of this object. How you will call that functionalities? This is how you will call object dot your functionality. Get basic details. Object dot is SUV. Guys, are you with me? Any questions or queries till now to understand these OOPS concepts? Any questions? Come on, guys, speak up. Are you able to understand?
Winky. Environment.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Ranganath,
Winky. In constructor that unit is there, that is the default one only, like syntax.
which one?
Well, initiating a constructor, we have used
Yeah.
def. Afterward unit we have used, that is default for any constructor.
Yes. Yes. This is actually a method to have your constructor based functionality. Okay.
Okay.
If you want to define your own constructor, that is also possible. Okay. Is that clear, Ranganath? If you want to define your own constructor, that is also possible. This is a default constructor, as you said. This is a default constructor given by Python, and we are using it. Okay. Any other questions or queries? Okay. So let us go and create our car object. Okay. So here, if you see, I'm running my thing, and then see here, it is Toyota Hyrider car and 2024 model. Its mileage is 21, and it is of SUV type, right? So similar to that, you pass any parameters to this. You pass any parameters to this. So here, if you see, I have this Breeza, let us say, and this is Suzuki, and its mileage is 21. So when you run this, the same object will behave according to your inputted attributes. Right? So understand the power of your object oriented programming, guys. This is very, very okay. And again, I just want you to understand how actually in real time we will be utilizing this OOPS concepts. Okay, I will explain that to you. Okay, for now we have defined only object, class, and constructor, but we have concepts also in OOPS. Okay, for example, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance. So we will discuss these four concepts and we will see examples how to implement these concepts in OOPS, okay, in Python. And then we will close this OOPS thing, okay. So this, once we discuss these four concepts, we will close the OOPS. But for today, try to understand class, object, and method. Method means a function which defines the behavior of the object, okay. So, and try to understand how to create an object, how to call the functionality of that object, right? So let us understand how we use this in real time in a data engineering world. For a typical data engineering world, how we actually use this, let us understand. See here, I have I have a project called OTX Dev, right? I have a project called OTX Dev, and under this project, I have a folder called Data Loader. Okay, under this data loader, I have three subdirectories: bronze, config, silver. Okay, after that, inside the data loader itself, I have init.py. Okay, and then I have main.py, and then I have util.py. Okay, so let us understand from the main. Okay, in the main, if you see, I have few inputs that are coming when we are executing the program. So when you are executing the program, you can pass some arguments. Okay, I am getting these arguments. Okay, once I got the arguments, I started processing. Okay, so once I started processing, if you see here, when I want to load the data, I have two zones. One is silver layer, another one is bronze layer. Okay, so for silver layer, I created my classes. I have two data sets that needs to be loaded: locations data and reference data. And these two data sets I need to load to silver layer as well as bronze layer. To load the locations data into the silver layer, I have a set of logic. To load the locations data to the bronze layer, I have a set of logics. Similarly for the reference data. And here, if you see, I created one class for locations data silver processor. And here I have data loader behavior wherein actual functionality will happen. Okay, and that is what I'm calling in the main class. If the inputted argument is bronze, go and create the bronze object, pass all the arguments that are required. Okay, once I have the bronze object, then call my data loader so that my data loader will load data to the bronze layer. Okay, and then inside the bronze layer, I have two data sets. And for these two data sets, I'm actually creating two objects. See how flexible your programming became. You still can write everything in a single script, but it is very hard to deploy it with the different arguments, with a different set of input parameters. Okay, So this is something that you need to understand. Here we are creating an object and we are calling that respective functionality. At this moment, if you come and ask me what is elephant if, it's again your headache. Okay, because we have spent good amount of time. I'm expecting everybody knows if and elif at this moment. Okay, so now at the end, if you see, we have done some if underscore underscore name equals to underscore underscore main, right? So for any program, there should be a starting point. Okay. So that starting point is this in Python. In our other programming languages, we may be creating main methods. Some we'll create in Java. We'll say public static void main. We'll say, right. So main methods we'll be having. So that main method we will define using this in Python. If underscore underscore name equals to underscore underscore main, so your program will come here first. All your class will be executed. Syntactically your main will be executed, but your actual kernel execution will start from here because it is getting satisfied, and then you're calling your main. So inside this if condition, your main is there. So your main will be called once it enters into that if statement. Okay, it will come here, and it has some system inputted arguments which are coming from the outside of your program, not from the inside. When we are running the program, these sys.argsv meaning, that means we are passing some inputs from the outside of the system. Okay, so if you are getting confused, let me give you one small example to understand this sys.argsv. Okay, I'm creating a Python file. Oh, so I don't work right. So where I am? Oh, okay. Okay. So let's go to our downloads. We'll just create a new file here. Once we'll go here and just simply say language Python. Okay. So name equals to sys.argsv of 1, age equals to sys.argsv of 2. Okay, I'm just printing name comma age. So I just saved this in my downloads. So if I go here and I will give cd downloads, and I will say Python. So how you will run your .py file using Python keyword, Python space sample.py, and here if you see Venkat 25. Okay, so this is not defined. So let's try to understand why. Because we did not import it. This is a module that is there in the Python inbuilt module. Okay, so I'm just saving it. Let's run it. Okay, so it's argv or argsv. It's, yeah, argv, right? Okay. See here. This is how you will, call your Python program with arguments. Okay. In real time, will deploy your Python scripts. If you write small scripts, this is how you will run. Okay. So, but if it is a project, okay, if it is a project, in that case, you will build it. Okay, you will build it and you will generate a wheel file. Okay, you will generate a wheel file here. If you see, yeah, here you will generate a wheel file, and this wheel file is nothing but your entire code package. Okay, your all the functionality that you have written, entire code will be packaged into a single file. That is what the build file. Okay, in Java, when we write some program and finally if we want to build it, we build the Java program and we generate a jar file. Okay, similar to that, maybe if it is a .NET or some other programming languages, there will be some kind of a build process will happen. Okay, so we cannot deploy file by file, right? We cannot deploy these file by file, but you can build that entire project and you can generate a build file and you deploy this build file. Okay, you deploy this build file with required arguments. That's it. That's what we do in real time, guys. Okay, so that it will run, the internal functionality will run according to your inputs. Okay, this is what we'll do in real time. So we'll prepare a build file. Okay, see here, what are all the things that needs to be included in this file, and what are all the dependencies or external packages that we need. All these things will specify in a build setup file. Okay, once we have this setup file, to build we have a command. Okay, so that command we will trigger and it will build your entire project. If any errors are there, it will throw out errors. If not, it will build the wheel file for you. Okay, so in Python there are two ways to build. One is building a wheel file, another one is building a egg file, .egg file, .wheel file, .egg file. Two build files we can generate in Python. Okay, we'll see that when we were in project discussions, but for now try to understand the importance of OOPS in real time. Okay, so to write module based executions or to write module based frameworks, we use object oriented programming in real time projects. Okay, so but what is an object? I think everybody understood from this class what is an object, what is a class, what is a method, right? How to create an object, how to call the functionality of that particular object. Everything we have discussed in today's session, and we also seen some real time project implementations of this OOPS, right? So hope everybody got some information, right? So about this object, class, and function, and init, self. So I want you to go and deep dive into these terminologies and get the complete understanding. See different examples ask your chat GPT or ask your AI assistant, or go and explore in the Google. Try to extract a lot much information as you can. Okay, about these OOPS concepts. I'm here to guide you guys. It's up to you how best you utilize that guidance. Okay, so the introduction of OOPS is completed. From tomorrow, we'll be going and discussing what are all the different methodologies that we have in implementing OOPS. Okay, we have encapsulation, we have inheritance, we have polymorphism, we have abstraction. So these are all different methodologies inside the object oriented programming, by using which we can mature, or we can develop our modularized codes in a matured fashion. Okay, not like see, simple. There will be some programmers who will write scripts. There will be some programmers who will write frameworks. Okay, so there is a difference, guys. So people who write frameworks will be recognized more. Okay, because these frameworks can be utilized across multiple different projects, not only for the single projects. Your script may satisfy a single project, but it cannot satisfy multiple different projects. When your code will satisfy multiple different projects, when you write a modularized code. Okay, when you write some generic frameworks which can help different project teams in real time. When you develop something which can be utilized by multiple teams using this OOPS concepts, you'll be recognized more, right? So that's what the importance of this OOPS concepts. So try to understand, try to go through this introduction session, and then explore different examples in internet, and then by tomorrow I will test your skill on this introduction session on OOPS. Okay, so I'll ask few questions, and then you should be able to answer those questions. Okay, so that's all for today, guys. I have introduction to OOPS. Okay, tomorrow we will go and do deep dive to OOPS methodologies. Any questions or queries? Hope everybody will will be able to understand this session. Respond, guys.
Yes.
Any questions?
Yeah, Venkat.
Yes, Naveen.
You got it, Roger. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for joining once again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.